This is Steve Robbins. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys, quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. Today's tip is about memorizing phone numbers. Yes, phone numbers. Hear me out. I worry a lot about the zombie apocalypse. Imagine what it'll be like. The apocalypse is in full swing. Power systems, internet connections, everything is starting to fall apart. You decide to call your friends and loved ones to arrange a post-apocalyptic place to meet up and fight off the zombies, like a bowling alley. Unfortunately, your cell phone is out of power, so you can't dial your friends from there. You run to your desktop computer, launch a voice-over IP phone call, but the power dies, because that's what always happens in zombie scenarios. Fortunately, your roommate has a landline, which, as I'm sure you know, is powered from the phone line and will often work in emergencies. You pick up their phone, and you have absolutely no idea what anyone's phone number is. The zombies shamble closer, they swipe left on you. Connection is key in emergencies. This is not hypothetical. Category 5 Hurricane Maria totaled the American territory of Puerto Rico, leaving millions of Americans with no power, no cell phones, no computers, and no social media access. And in what seems to be the 21st century American tradition, rather than coming to the aid of our fellow citizens, we've basically collectively left them to die and struggle to rebuild on their own. But hey, otherwise we'd have to put down our mobile devices and maybe miss Game of Thrones. So it's definitely worth it. The lesson for us, however, is that if the zombie apocalypse hits our city, it's entirely possible that we'll be left to our own devices. And if our devices are out of power, we'll need to use someone else's, and their devices don't have our phone books built in. Memorize important phone numbers. This is why you need to memorize your most important phone numbers. You want to have them available whether or not you have use of your own phone, your own computer, or access to the cloud. At the very least, memorize your Schmoopy's phone numbers. Schmoopy managed to escape the zombies and has now teamed up with a secret military force that's the last bastion of resistance. One phone call and Schmoopy will come to your rescue. You just need Schmoopy's phone number. If you have many Schmoopies, memorize all of their phone numbers. Your parents and siblings, your financial advisor, your bank manager, or anyone else who can help you get to your assets remotely. Memorize phone numbers by chunking. One of the weird things about brains is that they're efficient, and if they know that something is stored elsewhere, they don't bother committing it to memory. If your brain knows that your phone has your phone numbers, it won't even try to remember. So here's the best way that I've found for remembering. First of all, chunk. Your brain remembers things best in chunks of 3 or 4. Phone numbers, in fact, were even designed to be put in those chunks. So the number 301-555-1212 can be divided into area code, prefix, and number. 301, 555, and 1212. So start by dividing the phone number into those chunks. Use visual and color memory. Google's amazing virtual reality tilt brush lets us move our fingers in the air and trace gorgeous colored lines in the air. The lines stay there so artists can create beautiful paintings that no one else can see. Those of us who aren't artists can create ugly, hideous masses of lines that no one else can see. It's just like what baby boomers called imagination. Only it's way better because it requires thousands of dollars of extra equipment and you don't get to keep the shape once you've created it. Sadly, the zombie apocalypse destroyed the thousands of dollars of extra equipment, so we're going to go with the imagination version. Number sequences make shapes. Get out a touch-tone phone pad and type in the phone number. Imagine that your finger is a tiny fairy connected to a paintbrush of fairy dust that paints a shape as you tap in the number. 301 is a big V starting at the upper right in the 3, traveling down to the 0 and then back up to the 1. 555 is the fairy hopping on one foot or pirouetting in place 3 times on the 5, and 1212 is a back and forth hop. Imagine this a few times until you can look at the keyboard and see the sparkling trail of magical dust. Start on the 3, zip into the V pattern, 3 pirouettes on the 5, and then do a little hop on the 1212. To make it more fun for your brain, you can make the design corresponding to each clump be a different color. So for me, the 301 is orange, the 555 is green, and the 1212 is blue. And all of them have sparkles, of course, because sparkles. Put in reminders to review the numbers. 1 time through the magical sparkle machine is good, but 12 times is better. Set up a reminder to go off every few days that says, "Hey, remember Schmoopy's phone number." And in the notes field of the reminder, put the phone number. When the reminder goes off, do your best to remember Schmoopy's phone number as a colorful design of fairy dust, and then check your answer using the note. Keep at it until you've memorized all of your important phone numbers. Then change the reminder to be once a month, just as a refresher. Now here's the weird part. Memorized phone numbers are more efficient. I started my memorization project in response to Puerto Rico, And I've had a very, very unexpected thing happen. Once a phone number is memorized, it is much, much faster to call or text someone. Typing a name on a smartphone keyboard often involves backspacing and typos, or I have to scan a list of possible completions, find the right contact, and then tap which of their phone numbers I want to call. It's a lot of work. With a memorized number, I just open the phone keypad and tap directly. No typos, no scanning, no selecting, no more scanning, no more selecting. It's much less distracting, easier, and more streamlined than the high-tech solution. So, by saving me all the work of memorizing phone numbers, I now realize that my smartphone increased the work that it takes to contact someone every single time. Who would have thought it? We all hope the zombie apocalypse doesn't arrive anytime soon, but if it does, memorizing phone numbers of important people will let you call Schmoopy for rescue even if your devices and internet access lose power. Memorize the numbers as trails of colored light tracing a pattern on a touch-tone keypad, and then review the numbers often enough to keep them firmly in memory. And while you're at it, memorize the phone number of the local bowling alley so you can call and make sure they still have open lanes when you hunker down against the zombies. I'm Steve Robbins. Follow Get It Done Guy on Twitter and Facebook. Want great keynote speeches on productivity, living an extraordinary life, or entrepreneurship? Hire me. Find me at steverobbins.com or join my personal mailing list by texting Get It Done to 33444. You'll also get a free copy of my secret book chapter on how to build relationships that help you succeed. Work less, do more, and have a great life.